Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodo8449 here. Today I'm going to be doing a little hints, tips video for you, and I think most people are going to find this one very informative and useful. As you probably read in the title, it's all about signals. Now I've only got one signal to show you, but I'll go through them all and what they mean basically. So obviously signals have changed from when the layouts, when railways first begun. It used to be like a policeman with flags. That used to be your signals, till now it's all done, electronically with lights, green for go and red for stop, just like a car traffic light. It's all done electronically now like that. So big wide range. So I'm obviously planning to do a layout in the 1930s, 40s time. Sort of end of the Big Four, when BR sort of started and then moved on to diesel, that era. So I'm going to be using signals like this. Apologies, I can't remember the name of the signal. I looked it up a few days ago and I've just forgotten what it's called now. But anyway, this is quite a nice signal because it actually moves, as you can see, which is really good. So yeah, I'll just split these videos down into a few sections. I'm going to start off with what the signals mean and how to identify them. Then I'm going to move on to a little bit on how they work, and then on to how they work on my layout, or the position I'm going to put them. So first of all, what they are. Well, signals. If you're using this style of signal that has an arm on it, they've kept it very simple. Red means stop, or home is what it's actually called, home signal, and yellow means distance. The other differences between them is the red one has a white stripe on it, whereas the yellow one has a black arrow on it. And if I spin it round, the white side means this signal is not for you. So if you can see the white side, then you have to ignore it. If you can see the red side, then you've got to look out for it. Now the way signals work is up like that means go. Same goes for distance, means ahead is okay. Flat out like that means stop. And then at night you'd use a paraffin lamp in these two colours here. So obviously green for go and red for stop, in those two positions like that and that. So that's sort of the basics of the signal and what they look like and so on. Very easy to identify between them. Now for people like me, you're trying to work out signals, I believe what I'm about to tell you is all correct. If I've got something wrong, then please by all means leave it in the comments and I will try and redo a video or something to show you the correct piece of information. But I don't believe there's a signal to tell you where point is set. You'd have to assume that the signal box master person will have already set the points correct for you, so you wouldn't have to bother that. Now there is one other thing which would happen in this time. In this area in front of you, obviously this is not on the main line, all these here points would have been controlled by you stopping your loco, getting out, manually moving the point, and then moving the loco past. So that's how it would have worked here during this time period that I'm doing. And that way you know which way the points are going and setting everything. But on the main line, signals. So that's enough about them. So how do they work? Well, a home signal means stop. If it's flat out like that, it means stop, you must stop. If it's up like that, it means safe to proceed. A distance signal, if it's straight up, it means safe, and if it's sideways, it doesn't mean stop, it means prepare to stop, so slow down really. So distance tells you to slow down, to be prepared to stop, and red, home, means stop. Now the way they work is basically a locomotive, doesn't matter what age, what style, if it's diesel, if it's steam, a locomotive cannot stop like a car. You cannot stop a locomotive in 100 metres. It takes a locomotive from like 60, 50 miles an hour, almost a mile of track to stop. So you can see what happens if they're travelling along the rails and they suddenly see a stop sign. By the time they've slammed on the brakes, this train could be a mile past the stop and have crashed into whatever was ever on the line or anything. So because of that, you have distance signals. Now you might have two distance signals for one stop signal, for instance. You'd have a distance signal at 1.5 miles away, another one at a mile away, and then you'd have your stop one at obviously, well, 0 miles away. So you've got to try and recreate that distance on your layout. Now I know that's not possible for most people because you just don't physically have a big enough layout. But if you think quite carefully about where you're sticking these signals, you can make it look quite good. So that's sort of how to identify them, how they work, and how they work, as a pair together. Now the next thing I'm going to go on about is how they'd work on a layout. I've shown you how they'd work in real life, obviously distance and stop. and how they work on a layout. So just a few other things to say. A stop sign could be from anything from a point not being set in the correct direction to a loco being on the track to a I don't know, a slow-moving goods train in front of you. It could be from anything like that. So these signals don't actually tell you what the problem is, they just say stop. So then, on my layout, obviously I've got my... Here we go. Now, so what I've decided to do is to have one down line, one up line, exactly as you should. This is the down line with the locomotive facing that way, which is the south line. And the one you can just see the coach behind it, that's the north line. Which means I only need to have a stop signal on this end facing that way, and then on the other end, on the other track facing that way. So instead of having to buy 4 signals, I only need 2 stop signals. So think about things like that, and it can save you money because signals aren't cheap to buy, unfortunately. Even second-hand ones are quite expensive. So then, I need a stop signal about here, so the locomotive cannot move out of the station until the stop sign says safe to go. As well as that, I will also need this branch line, I'll also need another stop signal for the exact same reason, so I need 2 in this area here. That's fine. Now, on this end of the track, I will need a distance signal, well, actually off the board. The distance signal for that stop signal will be on the next board, which sits about here somewhere. And then that one there will be sort of in the correct scale and so on. Now, as well as that, if you've been watching my update videos, you'll know I'm planning on having a point almost immediately after this piece of track. So about here, there's going to be a point. So because of that, I need another stop and distance one. So as well as having 2 stop signs here, I'm also going to have a stop sign, and then on this track, so stop sign, oh, dropped it, stop sign there, another one here. As well as that, I need a distance one on this side of track here, again to mean slow down, and then I stick a stop sign about here somewhere, and then that there gives you the distance to warn you to slow down, and then the stop to warn you to stop in case the point's set the wrong way. So that's sort of how I'm planning on doing my signals. Now, if you want to learn a bit more about it, the best thing I can say is to subscribe to my channel and watch my next update video, because in it, I will hopefully, or within 1 or 2 update videos, I will hopefully have set out a couple of signals in the correct positions, so you'll get sort of the idea of exactly what I'm going on about. But I hope I've been clear enough, and I hope you sort of understand a bit more about signals. So red is home, means stop. Yellow is distance, means slow down. There is no signal for which way the point's moving. If you were in real life, you'd have to assume that if this signal said go, it would be safe to go over the point to work. So that's how it's done. And then, in my case here, this is all going to be done by hand. So it's going to be done by, moving the loco up to the edge, and then, get out, change it, and then carry on. So that's how I'm planning to do it on my layout. So hopefully that sort of helped you with any questions you've had about signalling, sort of in the the 1880s to the 1970s sort of timing. They all sort of use this signal on various railways and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or any corrections that I need to make, please leave them below, and I'll get around to them as soon as possible, as soon as I can. And if I need to, I'll remake this video with the correct information in it. So yeah, hopefully, yeah. So thanks for watching. Any comments, leave them below. Please hit the subscribe and like button, and I will hopefully catch you again soon.